If you've heard, then you know that Kevin Hart turned down hosting the Oscars after he accepted them because of some controversy that came out. So then, who's left to host the biggest award show of the year? Rob Lowe says that Hollywood looks at the Oscars as basically a show that nobody wants to do. It's really sad, but honestly, they've got nobody to blame but themselves. Jimmy Kimmel was the last to host the Oscars, and he hosted them the last 2 times, so it makes sense that he not return for a 3rd time. He said they asked like 14 people and they all said no, and that was when he was left and he was surprised. He obviously doesn't really want to do it again because he has a show and it's a lot of work. It's not easy this time to get it out as the last few times. The controversy with this Kevin Hart has left many people not wanting to touch the job, especially the biggest stars. Oprah Winfrey said she doesn't want to do it. Patton Oswalt said someone else should do it, and he might do it some other year. Hugh Jackman said he'd love to do it, but he can't fit it in his schedule. He hosted the Oscars the last time in 2009, and he's apparently training hours every day for his Greatest Showman type concert thing starting in the spring. And Melissa McCarthy joked about it, and Amy Schumer said, she didn't say, but she's pregnant. Many people have said that they will never do it. Sandra Bullock said it's just not appreciated because people always complain that it's long and you have to make fun of people. John Legend said the same thing. Seth MacFarlane said it's not a great job because of the enormous spotlight, and there's probably going to be a lot of people that don't like it. He said it's been a long time since he read amazing reviews of the awards. Hosts can be putting themselves on the lines and blamed too for bad ratings. Kevin Hart was announced in December, but he refused to apologize for some old tweets back in 2009 and 2010 and turned down the job 2 days later. Ellen DeGeneres pushed Kevin Hart to take the job after coming on her show, but he was on the show to promote a movie. She said that she called the Academy to bring him back as the host, and they said they like him to host. They tried to play down the tweets by saying it was angry people, but the conversation was started by, I think, The Guardian and communities on Twitter. They say Kevin Hart kind of was undecided still whether he wanted to take the job after that or not, and nothing was agreed to. Sources have said that despite her efforts, he doesn't want to do it. He has said he doesn't want his hosting to be a distraction from the movies and people being honored. He was worried about the little time left to get ready too. At this point, with less than a month to go, the award show isn't looking good. The producer is doing this for the first time. This is a new producer, Donna Gigliotti, or someone else from the Academy. would have to bank someone to do this at the last minute. She's doing this for the first time, like I said, and she's been dealing with the Academy CEO, Don Hudson, and President John Bailey, and there's 300 staff and 54 people on the Board of Governors at the Academy, and they don't know what's happening. The award show had someone saying that they were thinking of getting rid of a host and throwing in just a bunch of celebs like Saturday Night Live. There was one time the awards didn't have a host in 1989. Rob Lowe sang and danced with Snow White in what many people say was a bad performance. Check it out if you want to. Sometimes, too, there were co-hosts. In the 70s, it happened 6 times. Michael Caine, Carol Burnett, Charlton Heston, and Rock Hudson all hosted when The Godfather won awards in 1972. Closer to the show, though, these is hard to do, and they likely want to call in a favor, which is easier than getting any hosts. Jimmy Kimmel, again, could get a call from the head of ABC's company. ABC runs the show. The ABC head of their company is Disney, and they could likely throw him in it if they wanted to, if it was an emergency. Emily Blunt and Lin-Manuel Miranda could potentially appear being in the Mary Poppins movie, which is owned by Disney. Any talk show hosts could show up, like Ellen. She turned down the job a while ago, though. It's possible that that's why she wanted to bring Kevin back to the show, because she knows of the troubles with finding a host, and maybe they contacted her to help. Jennifer Lawrence could be as Gigliotti helped her become a star on Silver Linings Playbook. That was the producer of the Oscars, helped Jennifer Lawrence become a star on Silver Linings Playbook. So, if she did it, she'd probably want a co-host like, say, Chris Pratt for this big show. But James Franco and Anne Hathaway's performance as co-hosts a few years ago might scare her away. The last time the awards had problems was in 2011 when Eddie Murphy supported Brett Ratner after a comment. Billy Crystal showed up and a lot of people were angry with how he appeared, stirring a huge controversy. The last time the awards had problems was in 2011. I am saying this again. I am saying this again for some reason. Let me finish this off. The last time a host was not announced into the new year was in 2006 with Jon Stewart and Whoopi Goldberg in 2002. Both were announced by January 7th. One of the hardest parts of getting a host is that the Academy thinks the old hosts have helped bring the ratings down and they want someone different. They don't want someone who old people care about because they think old people will watch anyway. That rules out Billy Crystal, David Letterman, Stewart and Goldberg, Alec Baldwin, Seth MacFarlane, Chris Rock, and other comedians like Ricky Gervais, John Oliver, and others. Rival hosts from networks other than ABC or other award show hosts can't be picked, like Stephen Colbert, James Corden, Jimmy Fallon, and Seth Meyers. Anyone taking the job now who might have taken it probably won't want to now that they know they're on second pick next to Kevin Hart, like Dwayne Johnson. There are a few who might work, like Neil Patrick Harris, Ryan Reynolds, or others, but they likely wouldn't want to be second choices and take such a big job this late. Kevin Hart was also worried in his newest comments that the magnifying glass was very thick on him and that if he did this, it would be a lot of people there with this show looking for anything to tear him apart. This will be the first awards at 3 hours since 1973. 2018 show ran at 3 hours and 53 minutes. Smaller awards will be given out during commercial breaks instead. Also, Seth MacFarlane, like he says the spotlight on this show might just be too big. It's like the sun, you're pretty likely to get burnt. This show will also be shown on ABC in the US and Sky in the UK. Maybe it's best for Kevin Hart to not do this show. He doesn't really need to, and he doesn't really get anything out of it. He's already sold out Madison Square Garden. Things are going good for him. Hosting this award show to make fun of people could only complicate things for him with all the controversy he's in. Who should host the awards? What do you think? Leave your comments below. That's all I have for now. This was important to do this video because there's no one hosting the awards yet. Now you know everything you need to know. Check out my other videos and subscribe.